Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first ever episode of TV Chef Fantasy League.
Wow.
I am your host and commissioner, Mike Cablon. With me are my two illustrious co-hosts, Sierra Kato and Ife Wadiwe.
Hello. I'm finishing my notes up right now, baby.
Wow, really down to the wire here. If you're just joining us, we used to be Top Chef Fantasy League, but now because we get to cover shows year-round, this is the first ever episode for MasterChef. This is going to be our draft. I guess we should open by talking about the differences between MasterChef and Top Chef for those of you listeners who are making the transition over with us. Because we were talking about this before the break. Top Chef is a very professional endeavor. These are executive chefs, people who've opened restaurants. MasterChef, entirely different beasts. These are home chefs.
Yeah,
who
they
are,
have full-time other jobs
exactly.
sometimes. The Top Chef thing I always thought was like, they're already career chefs. They just want to become stars, right?
Yes.
Like TV personalities, but also just, the restaurant to go to. This is more like, hey, what if I were to become a chef at all? And maybe they have families or full-time other jobs, like we said, or hobbies. So
a lot of people.
Cool.
Okay, let's back up. What is your relationship and your history with MasterChef? Have you watched the show? Are you fans?
I've watched bits and pieces of MasterChef. I've had friends who have tried out for MasterChef. I have two separate friends.
I have one friend who's been on MasterChef.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He got
nice.
eliminated very early.
Okay. I have one friend who has auditioned, and I really liked his cooking. Like I've had his food before, and he just didn't get. And he was like, "Well, that's that." And I was like, "No, then try out again." He was like, "No, I don't want to do that again."
That was enough.
And I think that is also like, I think the difference between like who's competing for MasterChef and who's competing for Top Chef, where Top Chef is like, no, this is what I do.
Yes.
Right.
I'm going to cook.
Yeah.
If I don't get on, then I have to get better till I get on like Dan,
Yes.
audition, where it's a bunch of people who's like, this would be cool, but like,
wouldn't it be hilarious if I was on MasterChef?
Yeah. I would say the only difference though is because they have like the junior, or they have MasterChef Junior. They have all these spin-offs, but also in this competition, as we'll get to, they do have some younger people, so they could become career chefs. Like we had like Nick DiGiovanni, who's obviously like a huge star, who is a young chef. Like he got his start on MasterChef, so I could see it happening for young people.
7 Guinness World Records, which I thought was a little.
I didn't know that. Did they say that? I kind of missed it.
I don't think we need to dive into the audition episodes because they kind of don't matter. But
sure.
When Nick DiGiovanni was the guest judge, they were like, he holds 7 Guinness World Records. I'm like, what for?
I mean, that's the kind of thing where I think you call Guinness and you're like, I think I want to do this, and they're like, okay, we'll send a timer out. So I guess he really just wanted to do that. Which, hey, he's like I feel like he's so good at the internet, like being a chef thing. A great example of what can happen if you win MasterChef or do well on MasterChef.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like no one's ever like, I want to go to this MasterChef restaurant, but it's not like, but it is like, oh, this is that. Or I think like a lot of them will have cookbooks.
Yes.
I do think a lot of them do
private chefing. Yeah, you can have a you win Top Chef, then you're just in the like, Food Network, you're
arsenal,
in the stratosphere.
You're winning awards.
Has there been any like MasterChef folks who've gone on to do like,
a better host would have done that research and have that answer ready to go. I'm simply not that guy.
Yeah, I think so because I with enough little Googles where I was trying to find other things, I would stumble upon, this MasterChef person, like where are they now, like crushing it, or and
I don't think any of them are destitute.
Sure.
I think they have like,
but have they broken into
exactly.
the stratosphere of like Michelin star chefs? I don't think.
I
don't know. Maybe
I doubt it.
Maybe if they start young enough, right? Because the thing is too, it's like they're starting at a disadvantage if you're coming in as an adult, because the Top Chef types or the people who are crushing it as restaurant starters, it's like they're 4 years old, when they started, so it's just tough.
So I'm going to guess that when we do our draft today, you're going to lean toward the youngers rather than the olders.
I think they performed better as I watched these auditions, but I think the show is going to do some things where they even the playing field, because of course it's going to be like, I think we're going to favor younger just because of the way that like shit works sometimes, but they'll have to do some recipes that we don't know what the heck that is, or break down some ingredients that we don't know what that is, of the younger types. So I think it should be equal.
I think you're right. I think, even though we were talking about the edits a lot at the end of the last Top Chef finale, Top Chef finale episode, I think that Top Chef, for the most part, is a cooking competition that happens to be recorded. And
yes, I know. I know.
And MasterChef is a TV show.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that because of that, we are going to see some leaning towards the best story specifically. Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know how much of the auditions you watch, I felt that going in where there's someone who clearly made a good dish and then someone says no just to add the suspense, and I was no, you're gonna say yes, this was a good, everyone was this is really good. And I gotta say, the Joe, not a fan of Joe.
Wow.
Right off.
He plays the villain. He's the not nice one.
Yeah, I was we don't, which is it's funny because I do think that the thing about how in America, Gordon Ramsay has this reputation as being this mean chef, but in
which
the
I
UK,
think I could be on a soapbox about this forever. I think is an outdated stereotype, but continue.
Yeah, but in the UK, he's known as this very wholesome, lovable chef.
Yeah.
And I think now watching it, because I think I watched a lot of the earlier ones where he was a little more, and I think now he's kind of really leaning into being no, I'm tired of being the
he's
mean
mellowed
one.
out,
and Joe's trying to step up to it, but Joe's not Joe. So remember when I told y'all to put a pin in the last episode?
Yeah.
When this was in the latest one where he passed on the venison because he was you didn't salt it. You didn't salt it. I was I can't give a shit. And literally a finalist in Top Chef, it wasn't salted enough. So everything he said about being no chef would do that, I was no, you're fucking wrong. You're
they make up it's clear that you can always find a flaw with any dish. So they can lean on that a lot if they need more of a tiebreaker.
Exactly.
I also think that a lot of the purpose that Joe serves in the show is he is not a chef, he's a restaurateur. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit like if you had a filmmaking competition, you were being judged by other writers and directors, and there was one studio exec who was you know what I mean? I'm not here to say I could write it better than you, but I couldn't sell that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I think Joe a lot of the time has this attitude of just this is a good dish because I know I could make it for $3 and sell it for $20. Do you know what I mean?
You saying that changed my whole perspective. So good thing you saying that, because
now we can buy
that changed the game.
Yeah.
But that also is another element of this that kind of makes that so. What's the word I'm looking for? Subjective, because this is a show for amateur chefs.
Yes.
So when people are getting dinged for being that's an amateur move, I'm yeah.
I hope so.
This is a teacher who is 50 years old.
The message, the thesis of the show is essentially you can do this too. You know what I mean? Which is a nice message. But it is, like you said, it's a TV show, which I think is part of the wider Gordon Ramsay perspective on what a cooking show should look like. Is it's a TV show first. Cooking is secondary to the entertainment factor.
Yes.
Right. And they do it well. And I think also I'm thinking of the fact that this is on Fox, right? Which is also on Hulu. So I watched it on Hulu. Mm-hmm. But you're just, you're not getting Bravo is a cable channel that you kind of have to just select, and a certain kind of person is coming there. Top Chef's been there forever. So, but you are still getting a sliver of the demographic. But this is sort of wide,
it's a much
wide audience.
Show.
Yeah. You're coming in, you might be watching a whole different show, but you're still on Fox or you're on Hulu and it's auto playing it. So I do think that there has to be some other element there other than just the cooking, because I don't know, a lot of people aren't into that. How do you relate? Oh, well, she's also, a Reiki person. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And even talking about the food stuff, I think that MasterChef is a little bit more sounds pedestrian in its taste. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Whereas Top Chef, it's you can take huge swings. And everyone on the show, no one acknowledges that, oh, people don't eat this. It's just no, this is we're in this realm. You know what I mean? We're
if
cooking
you have
at this
a palate,
level.
you better
this. Whereas I think that MasterChef, the best possible dish on any given episode of MasterChef is a mid-tier dish on Top Chef. You know what I mean? It's if you can really cook the shit out of one protein and add a veg and a starch and present that, they're this is the pinnacle of cooking on MasterChef.
Yeah, and a lot were doing that. And I think also coming back to, because they're doing this generations, Gen Z through baby boomers, it's they're going to have to appeal to everybody. And I think particularly, thinking about who watches shows shows, like, I think it's kind of be an older audience, so they can't alienate, Gen X or boomers. They can't do it.
But
they're going to alienate. I mean, so if you haven't watched MasterChef before, it's not always this division thing. In the last
Sure.
couple of years, they've sort of like had to like up the gimmicks, But last year it was the United Tastes of America. And so they divided the country into like the West, the South, the Midwest, and the Northeast. And those were the sort of like, and so you do end up alienating. I mean, not alienating isn't the right word, but there's like this sense of friendly competition of being like, oh, down south, we know how to cook this. You know what I mean? Like, you can't hold a candle to us.
Right.
And I think that'll be a little bit more of the attitude here, where it's less about like, we want to tell old people they don't belong in the kitchen or whatever, and more just like, hey, old man, get out of my way, because I'm going to do some newfangled technology.
Yeah, which they did well. They did like to lean into that a little bit with certain characters. Villain edits.
Right. Yeah. Okay, should we start with the rules here?
Yes.
So if you've never done any form of fantasy sports before, if you're just joining us on this podcast, it's really simple. We're each going to pick a team of chefs for the season, and based on how those chefs perform in the show, we each get points every week, and the person with the most points at the end of the season wins. So this is something you can do at home, too. Draft your own team of chefs with your team of friends. Tag us. We love seeing what your leagues look like at home. We have a few Top Chef people who tag us in their leagues. It's a lot of fun for us. And the winner gets dinner?
Yeah. That's a nice excuse for us to get dinner.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the way this is ordered, and I'm wondering, is this draft order? And if so, are you saying that we're going in order of place last season?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I have something to tell you, Mike.
Oh, here we go.
Sports, usually the team that did worse the previous season goes first.
I think you're lying to my face.
No.
That
It is.
true,
They do trade draft orders with trades and stuff, but like the worst. That's why when like a team is kind of shitty, you'll see them like do shitty so that they can get better.
You're right. Okay, so as commissioner, I will open this to the floor. Are you okay with taking the last pick?
I am okay because I think the prize is dinner, and then
You're in this for the food, not for the picks.
I mean, listen, we're all winners here, and I don't do it. I don't do it for the glory, but yeah, maybe that makes more sense to follow sports rules since we're all such sporty kids.
We're all jocks here.
Yeah, couple of jocks.
Athletes,
Okay,
we are still going to do a snake draft, which I said this the last draft episode. It's so hard to explain. Just look at it like a visual, like an illustration. It'll be easier. You go back and forth.
Yeah.
So if you'll draft first, I'll draft second. Sierra will draft third, but then it'll go the other way. Sierra, you get 2 picks in a row, and then we'll snake through the system there. What else do we have? Okay, that's it. We've got a long list of ways you can earn points, so let's go through that now. I will tell you, this is the first time that Sierra and Iffy are seeing this, so I am revealing rules to them at the same time that I am revealing them to you. Here we go. Here are our scoring rules for TV Chef Fantasy League MasterChef 2024. This will be on our Instagram. It'll live at TV Chef Fantasy League, so you can always refer to this throughout the season. Winning a challenge is 1 point. That's pretty basic.
Yeah.
Okay, I should back up and say we just came from a show. Top Chef is like a very structured show.
Yeah.
Every episode, there is a quick fire and an elimination challenge.
Yes.
And that is how the show works. MasterChef is chaos in comparison. They change the format all the time. Okay. There is no telling what's going to happen.
Yes.
So the rules are a little bit loosier-goosier.
Okay.
So winning the main challenge of the episode is 1 point. And usually there's one challenge. Sometimes there's 2. Who knows what's going to happen? You get a half point if you get a closer look dish. So what we did last season on Top Chef was if you make it a judge's table, that's like some form of points. This is sort of that. So at the beginning of the competition, when there are 20 people out on the floor, they don't taste all 20 dishes.
Yeah.
They kind of go look at them and they go, here are the 3, or I guess it'll be 4. Here are the 4 we want to take a closer look at. Yeah. So if you are one of those dishes that they actually like bring up to the front, they talk about, that is a half a point. It does not apply if all the dishes get a closer look.
Okay.
So like later in the season when there's only like 6 people left, they'll be like, we're going to taste all of them. That'd be crazy to give everyone a half point. So that's that point. If you make it to the finale of MasterChef, that is 2 points. And if you win, if you are America's Next MasterChef, that is 3 points.
All right.
So those are the basic performance ones. And now we're going to get into the fun stuff. I'd say about half the episodes of MasterChef are team challenges. So if you are the team captain, that is 1 point.
Okay.
And sometimes it is like you choose it yourselves. Sometimes the judges are like, we're appointing you the team captain. So it can come in a manner of different ways. But if you're the team captain, that's 1 point. If you cook something you are allergic to, which happens more often than you would think.
Oh, like the contestant is like, oh, I'm allergic
Frequently,
to this?
people come on the show and they're
No.
like, I want to be on MasterChef. I cannot touch lobster. And then inevitably there's a lobster challenge and they're like, I have to wear gloves and this is a really hard challenge.
Oh, okay.
So
wow.
You do it for the master chef
Exactly.
title, I guess.
You cook something you're allergic to, that's a half a point. These next two I love. If you say, I make this all the time, and you land in the top, that's plus 1 point.
Oh, no.
If you say, I make this all the time, and you land in the bottom, that is minus 1 point.
Yes.
I mean, it should be,
love
right?
that.
Like-
I love already how chaotic the scoring is.
Yeah,
in
this
season.
it's just matching the chaos tone of MasterChef.
And
Like-
a little bit more of the the TV-ness of it. You know what I mean? They love a simple narrative.
Cool.
They love someone saying I'm very confident, and then watching them fall
Yeah.
flame out hard.
Definitely
Yes.
saw that. Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah. They also love a character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In Top Chef, you're allowed to be a nuanced, fully formed human being.
Mm.
MasterChef, you are reduced to
Oh,
whatever your
no.
thing is.
Yeah, definitely noticed that. Yeah, just, watching these auditions.
They
it's
have
wow.
costumes. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
yeah.
Whatever you wore in your audition, that's your character now.
Oh,
Anyway,
right,
if you
right.
wore a suit, you gotta wear a suit the whole time.
wow.
If you're I chose to wear a scarf or whatever, they're like, you're the scarf guy. Now you gotta wear a scarf in every episode.
Wow.
You wear a funny hat. That's this. It's
David
like watching
Murphy.
a cartoon. Yeah,
What if
David
Murphy
Murphy
comes
style.
back for MasterChef.
Exactly. Okay. You get a half point if you say anything akin to, I'm from blank, we don't have blank, or I've never made this before, or I don't cook with this a lot. Anything that implies some relative inexperience with the dish.
Yes.
Which again
Bound to
happens
happen.
a lot. Particularly that first version, which is always crazy to me. They're always like, I'm from Texas. We don't have salmon down there. And I'm like,
What?
that's kind of crazy to me.
yeah.
This is America.
We
You can kind of get
do.
any food
Yeah.
wherever. But anyway, that happens a lot, so that's a half point. You get a half a point if you say either, I'm doing this for my kids, wife, family, whatever, however that sentence ends, or this dish is inspired by my mom, grandma, whatever. You get an extra half a point if that person is dead.
Oh, well, that
If you're
changes
like-
a lot on my,
Yeah.
my list here.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah. Frequently we'll get this dish is inspired by my grandma. She, we lost her last year, but she always used to make this thing.
Yeah.
So that's
Ding,
points
ding,
there.
ding, ding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Really racking them up. This one applies if there is a guest judge, or sometimes it's a past season winner. But if they say, "Oh, I'm such a huge fan of that person," that's a half a point.
Ooh.
Which also, we'll get. Like Christina Tosi used to be a judge here.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the other former judges, but people will come in.
And we even saw it happen already in the
Yes.
audition.
Yes, judges
Yeah.
coming in and people following them, or
Yeah.
I cried every time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a half point there. And this applies to any form of cooking demonstration. You get a half point if your chef says, he's going so fast up there, or she's going so fast up there. Usually this is Gordon Ramsay, and it's a fun challenge where he says, you're going to cook at my speed. And he's doing it in real time, and if you're not done at the same time as him, you're you just have to present whatever you have.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
And he goes as fast as possible. It's the funniest
Jesus.
thing. He goes hyperspeed because it's funny. It makes good television.
Yeah.
Every now and then it'll be Aaron Sanchez doing it, or it'll be Joe Bastianich has done it a couple times
Yeah.
where he's like, I can make a pasta dish. But if they say, it's going so fast up there, that's a half point. Okay, here are the last two. Here are my favorites. If Gordon throws your protein, that is minus 1 point.
Oh.
I hope that happens.
This is usually in an outdoor challenge. So 2-3 times a season, they'll do a team challenge where it's we're going to cook for 100 firefighters or
Yeah.
100 cowboys or whatever it is. And they're cooking outside. And what always happens is someone sends something back for being raw. And Gordon Ramsay will pick it up and he'll go look at this. This is raw. And then he'll throw it as far as he can. So if you are on the protein station, and that's the qualification because it's usually a team challenge.
Yeah.
If you're on the protein station, if you're in charge of the steaks or whatever, and Gordon throws your steak, you lose a point.
I thought he was trying to be a little nicer in this.
It's Yes.
Yeah.
But again, it's like his directive is making good TV.
Right.
Yeah.
I know it's good TV is just throwing food.
And he's
Yeah.
also trying to protect the firefighters, I presume.
Exactly.
From your
Yeah.
raw meal.
Can't
Yeah.
fight fires if you have salmonella.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's his new slogan.
And finally, if either Gordon pays for your culinary tuition or one of the judges invites you to cook at their restaurant, that
a
is
thing?
plus 2 points.
Whoa.
That's the highest point, other than making it to the finale and winning.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen that often. But it happens often enough that I was like, it could.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's usually on the way out. It's usually if you make it to like the top 5 and you're really promising, and they're like, but you had a bad night, so we have to send you home. They'll be like, I believe in you. And if you're like a disadvantaged kid, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes a kid will show up and like their parents aren't there because they're like, my parents don't support my dreams. That's when Gordon will be like, I'm going to send you to culinary school.
Right.
Or if you're a little older than that, then they're like our own will be like, you come to my restaurant down in New Orleans.
Oh.
I'll put you in the kitchen for a year, and then you can go wherever you want. You know what I mean? So if that happens, that's 2 points.
Woo.
Those are our scoring rules.
All right.
What do you guys think?
I'm loving it.
This is a great, great.
Another high-scoring season. We'll see if I get any of those points.
If you're just tuning in, Iffy lost last season by a huge, an order of magnitude.
It was a big gap there.
It's a huge gap.
Yeah.
Not even close.
I mean, I already looking at this score sheet though, it's like way more sporadic wild card, like not as much of a rhythm to it. So I think it could be great. We're really gonna have. I think it's gonna be like we're gonna be all over the place.
Oh yeah,
and it really, it's a good preview for I think what is in store in this show, which is just madness.
Yeah. All right. So let's start our draft. I want to know where your head's at. What's your strategy going into this? Did you do research? Are you going in blind? How are we doing this?
I kind of researched kind of their opening dishes, and I'm going to try and spread out, and I think we're all just naturally going to, just because of the nature of the show, spread out across generations. Like I'm not going to zero into, but I'm also trying to find people with like interesting stories, but also people with good like chefing instincts.
Yes,
I
agree.
Where like there are some people who I've written down where I was like, that is like in the same vein of something we saw in Top Chef. So that you have a very good instinct because there's no way you could have seen that and been like, I'm doing that.
And conversely, there's some people where I'm like, you're here because you're good TV, not because you're a good chef.
Yes.
You're here because you're a cartoon character, and it'll be hilarious to watch you bumble your way through the kitchen.
Right.
Yes.
And they could earn a lot of points even if they're not there that long.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's tough because there's some people who they have a good story. They kind of did their story in their first episode. And I'm like, I hope that's not it for them. So I think those folks are maybe kind of in the middle or lower, because I'm like, I feel like they just were good TV for a pilot, or not a pilot, but audition episodes.
Yeah.
And then they kind of milk them for everything that they can get out of them for this particular TV show.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who are like, I think they're too boring, even though they're good,
Sure.
So it's not as, one-to-one with the skill. But again, I think there's so much, there's such a wide variety of personalities and some people who just, I think, can be stars. Very excited to see.
All right. So here's how this works. The numbers are a little bit off. There are 20 contestants available for drafting. There are 3 of us. So we're each going to get 6 picks, 6 chefs, and then we're going to leave 2 on the bench who are just there for the season.
Yeah.
There's no trades. There's no swapping in for injuries or whatever. It's just 2 on the bench. Okay. We might have to pause here. Is this Zoom going to run out? Val, if this Zoom runs out, I will send you a new link. Okay. Great. Let's start our draft. So, Iffy, as the person who came in dead last season, you get the first pick. Who is the first pick of the 2024 MasterChef draft going to be?
Last season I drafted with my heart. Okay. I went with the people that I connected with. I ended up with an all-black team. I don't regret that decision one bit. But I was thinking, maybe I should be more strategic. Maybe I should be more smart. But I don't think I'm going to do that because my first pick is going to be a fellow Nigerian.
Okay. Yeah.
This is going to be from the Gen Z. Fatima.
Yes. Okay.
Was my pick. Who she made.
Put her up on the board.
Yep.
She was a top.
Yeah.
Me as well.
So she made a tuwu bigiri, pan-seared lamb chops with mashed jasmine rice and black-eyed pea sauce, which the black eyed pea sauce is the only thing that kind of sounds familiar. Also, there's a lot of tribes in Nigeria. I'm Igbo. She might be from a different tribe.
Sure.
But it looked good. Gordon called it posh. So that's what gets me excited about the Gen Z.
Yeah.
Is they're going to do some cool plating shit that I think all the other people aren't going to be as focused on because they watch all this stuff and they're from the internet.
Okay.
And she got like a triple yes right off the bat. So she
was a front runner.
Strong. So I think I feel very confident in my pick for Fatima.
Tell me if this resonates with you. When I was watching this episode, I was like, the two most Nigerian things that stick out to me here are one, she's a doctor.
Yeah.
And two, her parents aren't there.
Yeah, I know. Because they're like, why are you not in the hospital?
Exactly,
You are a doctor, why are you cooking? What is you cooking? You cook? Huh? You must cook for your husband.
She's so young and already a doctor, and I feel like that work ethic is going to go strong into this.
Absolutely.
I this would make me scream if I had to sit and watch this with my dad because he's like, wow, 26.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
You are a comedian?
I don't remember hearing about a doctor strike.
Oh, no.
Okay, that was a good first pick. She was definitely a front runner for me. I'm wondering what group to go with first. With the first round pick, there's the field is wide open. I think I'm going to stick to home base because I'm a millennial, and so I'm going to pick a fellow millennial, and I'm going to go with my front runner in the millennial category. That's going to be Jeet.
Ooh.
Who was charming and seemed to cook well. This is mostly like she had good vibes. And I think that MasterChef is a little bit more like we want the winner to be someone that America can like root for and get behind.
Yes.
And Jeet like cooked well enough. Like I think there's sort of like a bottom threshold, and once you're past that threshold, they're like, yeah, fine, you can cook.
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit more like, who are you? And I think Jeet's got the personality.
Oh,
she can go all the way. So that's my first round pick is Jeet. Now Sierra, snake draft system, you get 2 picks in a row here.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a big opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's good strategy. All right, so I know who I'm picking then, and it might be a little controversial because I'm going to be sticking to 2 millennials.
Okay, wow, 2 millennials.
Don't you dare.
It's a pretty big deal. So Fatima was in my top, but I also had. I'll go with Anna first. Anna's a millennial.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Want to drop that over for me? Thank you. So she just had like a knockout dish. Like she made this duck, basically a sweep across the board with the judges saying it was delicious. And that one was even like, I'd put it in my restaurant. Mm-hmm. And, I think her story, I wasn't really like, it didn't really stick out to me, but I think just for like a strong chef to have on my team, she was top notch.
I will say she fits a popular MasterChef archetype, which I think is like conventionally attractive housewife mom. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Those kinds of contestants tend to go far in this competition.
Okay.
As long as they can cook.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that part, but that makes total sense, and she does that. And so then my second pick now is going to be also millennial, Michael. Ooh. So Michael, thank you. If he,
this is interesting. These are my 2 bottom in the millennial section.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So Michael, for me, I think maybe, he's top for me because he did a fine cook, but his story was his mom who passed away recently, and he was cooking this for her. So, if we had done points for these audition episodes, like he would already be getting some of those points for like he cooked this with his mom. She is somebody who has passed away, and they really loved his story, and it was really moving. He's a likable guy, so that's why I think after especially seeing what the point system is, I'm like, we'll be getting something there. Not to use his mom for my benefit, but
I do just want to say in my notes, I wrote a lot of things that like I don't want to say on air because these are like real people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like making fun of a celebrity where you're like, we can all make fun of a celebrity.
Yeah.
And I like Michael's like, I don't want to make fun of anyone, but something about him, I was like, something is off. Something in his eyes. I'm like, I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he just lost his mother.
That could be it. Maybe it's just like a deep sadness, but I'm like, I can't.
No.
He was on the bottom for me in the millennials.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I can see that, but I'm sticking by him.
Okay, in that case, since the millennial category is going, I feel like I got to get it in.
Okay.
And so the other 2 left in the millennials category were also picks of mine, and I think I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Sai, and I'm going to make Sai my second pick.
Yeah, he was very likable.
Yeah.
He was okay. I think he reminded me of Sue because he also used to golf.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Sai, if you look him on Instagram, has chef in his Instagram handle. So I'm like, this isn't like what he wants to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is what we were talking about earlier. It's not like
Identity.
he's a golfer and also decided to be a chef. He's like, no, I'm a chef.
Yeah.
And so I just think that mentality of going of just like, no, I know how to cook. This is what I do. Will serve him well.
Yeah.
The Instagram
well, I'm gonna just
stock, that's
go ahead
a-
and clean house. I mean,
Okay.
we're gonna go all millennials.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kamei, going with like the Caribbean, like the Haitian flavors,
yeah.
the pickles, which is something we've
Yes.
seen multiple times in
Yeah.
Top Chef.
Yeah.
Got me excited thinking that we're gonna see some really exciting dishes coming from that way.
Yeah, I agree. That's actually a really good demonstration of how these shows are different. Is like pickles happens all the time on Top Chef.
Yeah.
And here it was something where like she had to explain it for the audience and be
Yes.
like, now this is from my culture. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, we get it. We got it.
Yeah, we got okay. So and
Second pick here.
Second pick, right out. I'm really I'm also thinking about different things that's going to allow me to kind of stay in the game in the first.
Yeah, you want some longevity after what happened last season.
And for that reason, I think Horacio.
Really?
Oh.
I feel like Gordon's excitement about him makes me think that he might be a potential chef receiver. Yeah.
Okay. He strikes me as like a humble man. I don't think he's going to go far.
Okay.
This is my bias. I don't. All the boomers, the whole boomer audition episode, I'm like, I don't think any of them are going to win.
Okay.
But
They'll have to keep.
Yeah.
Right.
I think if one's going to make it to the later rounds, just be like, look, see, there's still a boomer here. I'll make her my next pick because she's the only one I have in the boomers.
Yeah.
So I want to take her off the board. Rebecca.
Oh, that was my I was
interesting.
bouncing between those two.
I didn't have her.
She has competed in cooking shows before.
Oh, that
she
helps.
won Food Network's Clash
And-
of the Grandmas.
And that home style cooking.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I
Well,
know.
That's like one of the styles of cooking that I think MasterChef really gravitates toward.
Yeah.
For as much as Top Chef is a show where it's like, we want a Buddha, we want a Danny, we want fine dining, MasterChef is just like, no. We want something that feels like America, executed excellently. And Rebecca cooking like her grandma food that's clutch for me.
interesting.
All
I
right,
wonder if
Sierra
that changes
with
things.
2 picks.
Okay, so I at least know. Okay. I think I know what I'm gonna do here. So number 3 for me is gonna be. I'm going to break us into the Gen X theme.
Here we go.
Don't you
Arthur.
say.
Oh,
that was my pick.
Damn.
I am
Arthur, the
not
49-year-old dad of a 4-year-old cutie pie.
But a very
which is
impressive dish.
Very close to my story. My dad was 44 when he had me, so
Okay.
also older side
Yeah.
dad, cute. Impressive dish, maybe like on the fancier side.
Yeah.
Just cute story. Loves his daughter clearly, so kind of like that. Once really got emotional when he was like, I cook because of her when she was born, and he's also like he was the running some company for a while, right? Like some sort of
So
head
I'll
of
say
marketing or
the
something.
Gen X episode is the one that I missed because I just didn't have time.
Right, that was the most recent one. So he had headed up a company for a while and maybe is still. So he's got, good work ethic, maybe knows his aesthetics because it was some sort of ad agency. So he's kind of creative. That's all I know. And then my next pick, I'm also going to go into a new generation for me, which is Gen Z. I decided to pick Becca.
Becca.
Becca was. Oops, sorry. Dropped Becca.
One of my picks too.
Yeah. So the reason I
yeah.
picked Becca,
Damn, no, I really wanted Becca.
she just is great on TV. I was just blown away by her
Age?
telegenics.
Yeah.
She looks 12
She looks
years
like
old.
a child.
Yes,
yeah,
and she's
but
from
she's
Provo,
young.
Utah, so that means
She's
she's
a Mormon.
100% Mormon.
She's a Mormon wife.
didn't
And
pick up on that.
and we know the killers slap, so that is
Right,
So-
and
so
they're
if you-
famously
so-
Mormon. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, she is very clearly a Mormon wife.
Yeah.
Did you look at her Instagram?
No.
I learned 2 things from her Instagram. One, she's like turbo Mormon because her
Okay.
her Lincoln
Whoa,
bio was literally like the Church of
Latter-day Saints.
That's all it was.
The
it was
home
not
website.
a specific page. It was just like learn about our religion.
Wow.
Yeah, I wonder
Okay.
if
She's
this
doing
is well. I was going to say I wonder if this counts as her mission, but if she's married, she's already done her mission. I know a lot
Right.
about
She's
Mormonism
24.
because I used to date someone who lived in Provo, Utah. I've been out there, and when I would go,
Were they ex-Mormon?
no, they were still currently Mormon. I
okay,
did not
current
have
Mormon,
sex
yeah.
for that
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
relationship.
Ooh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
They were
And if you
Mormon,
know
yeah.
me, you know I was
Iffy be
pinned up.
fucking. If there's one thing to know about Iffy be fucking.
Sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I would stay at her aunt's and uncle's milk farm so that we wouldn't, be in the same house.
Oh, my
But it was
goodness.
tight because you get that fresh. And maybe that's why I'm lactose intolerant now because I would get
You
that
OD'd
fresh
on fresh dairy.
Yeah, your
fresh
body was
dairy.
like, we got to spend it all here.
Yeah.
The other thing I learned about Becca on her Instagram, went to culinary school. So literally has the experience.
Okay, wow.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
so yeah, I
Gonna be
mean,
a
I guess
sniper.
I lucked out there. Yeah, she did a good lava cake, and yeah, I just was impressed with the fact she was able to talk on camera and cook,
Yes.
which I feel like is obviously very necessary for this competition. So
Yeah.
I think they'll keep her around. Hopefully.
Okay, we're getting into crunch time now because I have one pick I want from Gen Z and Gen X, and I want to take them before you guys do.
Okay.
So I just got to make a decision here of who I'm going to go with. And since I didn't watch the Gen X episode, I feel less confident about that pick. So I'm going to go with my Gen Z pick here. I'm going to go with Adam. And I picked him for two reasons. One, his food looks good. He's like a ranch chef. And two, he's hot. And look, that was why I picked
Keep
a couple of my
him on,
people
yeah.
last season.
Yeah.
I have no shame about the fact that if you're hot, I think you cook well.
Yeah. And I had
for TV?
Adam down as going to potentially be a standout. So
Yeah.
that's good pick. For me, I think it is Gen X time, and I'm going to go with my Gen X pick, which is I'm going to just look at my notes one more time. Okay, I think I'm gonna commit to this. I'm gonna go with Daniela.
Daniela, okay.
Specifically, this is a more kind of metagamey reason, but she got a proposal
Yes.
on her
Yeah.
episode,
Major.
Yeah.
and I feel like that is also gonna push it into the next level.
Right. We want to see what the wedding planning's like. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the judges can't kick someone off who just got engaged
Yeah,
on the
it's
show. That'd be
against the
cruel.
rules. Yeah,
Yeah.
cruel. I wouldn't stand for it. But
she had a son. She her fiance now is named Ricky or something, and her son's named Ricky or Rick, and then she's a Reiki master.
yes,
It was very good. I was like,
It's
what
a
is happening?
Sue the sous chef situation.
Yeah.
Rick the Reiki
Yeah,
healer.
Rick the Reiki,
Rick,
rake
Ricky,
it
and
up.
Reiki. Mhm.
All right, another pick for you, Iffy.
So now we're down to, I think these boomers are going to be on the bench, and I think we're
Oh, sure.
scrapping
It happens.
for the Gen X. So I'm actually gonna consult my notes yet again because this is now we're getting down to the wire, and I really want to make sure I think I'm gonna lean Gen X because I think that they're going to be the target to win. And I'm just going to look at, some of the dishes that these folks made. So you had Chris, who made the yuzu Japanese karage with yuzu mayo, gomoku rice. Joe loves the crispy chicken and calls it comfort food I want to eat. Lydia thinks the rice could be a meal by itself. Gordon likes the crispy chicken but thinks it needs more seasoning. But despite that, gets the win.
So you're going to go Chris?
I think I'm going with Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, that honestly, that looked delicious, and I just thought he was a sweet looking guy, like he's a sweetie pie.
Yeah.
We love a sweetie pie.
And their main thing was too much flavor, and it's like, well,
It's not really a
it
huge
is shrimp
problem.
and grits. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, then I'm glad I'm going to get my only pick out of the Gen X category. I'm going to take Sunshine.
I was also eyeing Sunshine.
Yeah, I missed this episode, but from what I read, she is Lakota Sioux, and I think that is a good television narrative.
Yeah.
So I'm strictly going off that.
Everyone loved her succotash.
Yeah, great.
Okay, guys. Well, or tallying it up, I don't have a baby boomer yet. So I actually am going to add a baby boomer. And my top boomer pick is still up for grabsies, and that was Christopher.
Christopher, who just met his birth dad.
Yeah, it was fascinating because, I mean, obviously his birth dad was older, but didn't look too old. So it was kind of cute. It was like an older man who's the father of an older man.
And I gotta say, that is who made the karage.
Yeah.
I definitely mixed up the Chris and Christopher on my list.
So you just realized you made the wrong choice.
I made the wrong choice.
We're locked in now.
Yeah, we're locked in. I'm not going to change it.
You got to find a way to love Chris now.
I now have to find a way to lock in on fucking this Chris guy.
Okay, Sierra, this is going to be your final pick.
Here. Oh, well, that was my final pick, right? Oh, wait.
No, there's
we're
a
going
sixth
down.
pick here.
I didn't even see 6. Okay, then we're good. We're good. Okay. So then, I wasn't expecting this. That's right. We've got, just to for the listeners who we have left, we've got in Gen Z, Hallie and Mert. Mm-hmm. And then in Gen X, we've got Kimberly. Mm-hmm. And no more millennials left. And then 2 boomers, Geegs and Warren.
Yeah.
And I think on my list here, let's see.
Who, by the way, Geegs goes by Geegs.
Yeah.
Because his name is also Chris. And they're like, we simply can't, there's no more Chris variations, so you got to do your last name.
Yes. But yeah, no, the Chris that I picked is from Mobile, Alabama, and he cooked a seared jumbo shrimp with smoked Gouda grits and blackberry gastrique.
And how do you feel about this, learning this for the first time?
I don't hate it, but it's not as pointed.
Sure.
It's not as
he was good though. I would have picked him next, maybe, honestly. But I have higher on my list, and I'm just going to go for it. Another boomer. I have Warren on my list.
Damn. Okay, high. I would have taken Warren.
Yeah. I mean, the next up too. I was looking at Hallie, but I don't know. Anyway, I won't give it away, so you guys can make your own decisions. Warren to round me out.
Okay, so now who's left on the board? I got Geegs, who's a no for me. That, to me, Geegs is a bench player.
Yeah, sorry, Geegs.
His audition dish, I was like, that doesn't look good.
No.
How much could you...
No.
And not to insult him because he's a real human being, but it is just like, he was like, I'm a fitness guy, so all my food is clean. I'm like, you mean bad. That's...
I as a fitness guy, no. Absolutely not.
Okay, and then we got Kimberly over in Gen X, and then in Gen Z, we got Hallie and Mert. Mert, to me, is another no thank you.
He was like playing the villain a lot. I didn't like it.
Just an unbearably cocky,
nobody likes that guy.
I think his Instagram said comedian in a way where it's like,
no,
that's what he's trying to do.
No,
yeah. He did the whole and I look good with my shirt off, and I'm on the boat.
Yuck.
Exactly. So if I eliminate my 2 no's, I'm down between Hallie and Kimberly. Hallie, I didn't feel great about. She struck me as I don't know how to say this, like one of the guys, you know what I mean, like her, I love to hunt and fish, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which might lend itself well to being a good chef, but personality wise, I'm like, I don't think she could be like America's Next MasterChef if that is the narrative they're pushing for her. So I'm going to go in blind here because I missed the Gen X episode. I'm going to go with Kimberly as my last pick.
Yeah.
All I got is that she's an English teacher and she was
the gardener.
Health conscious. Yeah. I think that bringing in like a veg bent, I don't think she'll win, but I think she'll get points, which is exactly what you want out of a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
All right. So Iffy, closing us out here.
This is very, This is tough because now, I'm doubled up on Gen X, which now there's not one, so that's fine. Mm-hmm. And I have to choose between Geegs
and one
Hallie
of the
or
Gen
Mert.
Zers, yeah.
And I think I have to make a TV pick.
Okay.
And say, while Top Chef tries to limit their villain edits.
Oh, here we go.
Fox.
You're going Mert.
I think
loves
that's
a villain.
That is the right choice.
Yeah.
They gave him a lot of airtime.
Yeah. They love a villain, so I'm going with Mert, and I think I'm happy with which we can all talk about. It seems like y'all doubled up on the millennials.
Yeah. Which could be to our detriment. It could just be straight like home team bias.
I don't
think
what I mean? So. I think if we kind of step back and look on the meta level, I think they're assuming that their target demo is the millennial age.
Yeah.
Because no disrespect to boomers and Gen X, if you're watching MasterChef, you already are, and you're on your way. So they're trying to grab these new audience. So I think our bigger hits are going to be those Gen Zers and millennials.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think millennials have the put togetherness to like make it all the way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sierra, how are you feeling about your team?
Yeah, pretty good. I was surprised that I ended up with 2 baby boomers, 2 millennials, but because I kind of was so impressed with the Gen Z episode.
Yeah.
But I did really love Becca, so I'm glad I got her. I think, if I could have added another Gen Zer, it would have been Fatima, but she's, taken right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really happy with everyone else. I think this was a really eye-opening like audition rounds where you kind of see, what the range of different cooking styles are. And I think I was just really impressed with the younger, like the Gen Zers who were able to cook as well as they were and be as like TV ready as they were, which I guess I shouldn't be, but truly I think they're going to do well this round.
Okay.
Nice,
All right. And if you're feeling good about your team?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I think, Fatima is kind of my like front runner.
Yeah.
That's why I went ahead and give her front pick. Like it is a sole pick, but also a pick that I think is very smart. And I think everyone y'all picked for millennial, those were all my picks. But luckily, this was one of my top picks, Kamei. So this is, I'm very curious, how it's going to shake out. And it makes me excited to see the first episode.
Very excited.
Because have they already kind of shown if it's going to be like the teams are going to be grouped by generation?
So what happened with the United Tastes of America was, you kind of played in teams, and then after a certain point, when there was like fewer people, then it became an individual competition. But for the most part, it was like, you're going to cook by region.
Yeah. So what we are potentially looking at is that these, the
millennials we're all going to be rooting for right up top.
Up top. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited. Good luck. May the best team win. Folks, we'll be bringing you a new episode every week. We're going to talk about what happened on the show. We'll total up the points at the end of every episode. I will win. I'm just putting it out into the universe right now. And that is it for our first ever episode of TV Chef Fantasy League. Remember, MasterChef airs Wednesdays on Fox here in America. If we have any listeners in Canada, I don't know where it airs. You tell us.
Yeah.
And that's it. TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our theme song is from Dylan Van Auken. Follow us on Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League and on YouTube.